Well, let's now switch our attention to matters investment. For the next 3 days, starting tomorrow, the Capital Markets Authority will hold an exhibition to let in the public on all issues around investing in the capital markets. So if you have any questions relating to investing in stocks, bonds, unit trusts, etc., Paul Muthaura, the Acting Chief Executive Officer, is live on the Citizen Business Centre to answer your questions. Paul, thank you so much for joining us. Of course, you're about to just get into a few days of investor education that's open to the public starting tomorrow up to Saturday, as we mentioned just now. What should the public expect to find?
Now, the Open Day is really an event where we bring together over 3 days the industry together with the public. And that is the public, both small investors, larger investors, institutional investors, and even potential issuers, together with all our market intermediaries, being the exchange, the central depository, all the brokers, the investment banks, the fund managers that you hear about. This is your opportunity to find them in one place, to ask them questions, compare their answers, and get additional information. In the sidelines of the Open Day, we will be running separate conference seminars, as it were, on different areas of interest, so that whoever is attending may have an opportunity to get a bit more insights into things like the master plan, the link between the capital markets and delivery of the vision, or even the simple matters of how do I invest as a small investor. Let's
get to the nitty-gritty. You know, a majority of Kenyans today say the stock market is complicated, and keeping in mind the names you've just mentioned, you know, stockbrokers, fund managers, and etc., many Kenyans would not immediately identify with that. But they are still interested in putting their money on the stock exchange. Yes. Where do they start?
Now, they start with speaking to a broker or an investment bank. That is the person that stands between you and the market. They're licensed by us. They're overseen by us to make sure that they're taking good care of your interests. And they're the ones who have the rights to place your order on the exchange and pass on any returns from that investment. So that's your starting point. Now, that broker then works with what's called the Central Depository and Settlement Corporation, or CDSC, who are now the ones who hold your shares on your behalf in safekeeping and ensure that as you trade your shares, they move across accounts. You no longer deal in paper anymore. You know, the age of putting on your wall a share certificate that that's what I own is past. We're now into a much more modern, much more flexible, much more responsive environment where you can go call your broker as long as they've done the appropriate account opening. You can even deal with them on the internet to be able to just facilitate ease of transactions, speed, and therefore reduce costs.
Still talking about beginner investors, because that makes actually the majority of Kenyans. Today, what's the best way for a beginner to get into the market? Should they go in through collective investments? Should they go directly to a stock brokerage? Is there a preferred mode of entry to the stock markets for a beginner?
Now, as the authority, I think we try to encourage investors to first start by understanding what's your risk appetite. What are you looking for? How much money do you have to invest? How much time do you have to do research before deciding to make an investment? And that should inform whether you go into a collective investment scheme where you're going to a professional investor who really takes all the trouble of doing the investigation, doing the research on your behalf. You're not investing in a single share, you're investing in a pool. So even your risks are balanced. Or if you do have the time and the additional resources to maybe take a larger stake, then you can go directly into a particular share. But that should be very much informed by your own understanding of where that company is going, having had the time to read, you know, the financial information memorandums about that company, so it's an informed decision. So we really try to encourage investors to make informed decisions, and that's why the Open Day is so important to us.
Now, many say the capital markets is a club of the elite, and I'm just wondering, you know, for the majority of Kenyans out there, say the mama mbogas, the fundis, is the capital markets a place to start small?
Definitely. If you think very recently, you know, just as part of our investor education and outreach, we ran what was known as the Capital Markets National Trivia Competition, where we had over 7,500 participants, including people from every single county in the country. It had, you know, respondents going from teens. Actually, the winner of the ultimate trivia competition was actually a high school student, running all the way to investors who were over 65. So as the full spectrum of Kenya's population had an opportunity to use the trivia to gain knowledge, to compete on what they understand about the markets. So we genuinely believe it really provides a platform for anyone, irrespective of your size of investment, to be able to come in. For as little as 500 shillings, you can start participating in the securities markets.
Now, of course, in the past, there have been cases where stock brokerages have gone bust and investors' monies have gone down with them. You know, what protection does an investor currently have against such a situation?
Definitely. Since the challenges we saw in the market in 2007, 2008, the legal environment in which stocks are traded has completely changed. We have completely new conduct of business regulations, corporate governance regulations that touch on all these intermediaries. Your broker no longer handles cash. You take your money, you deposit into a bank account in their name, so that even the chances of, if there's any challenge with any one entity, the risk of an individual investor being exposed is significantly reduced. On top of that, we have introduced what's called risk-based supervision, so that even the manner in which we oversee and supervise these entities is very much informed by the size of their business, the risk they're potentially going to pose. So we have made sure the market is much, much stronger than it has ever been, quite frankly. And we're able now as the authority to give a much greater confidence to investors that if they do come in, they're dealing with intermediaries who have all the capacity, the expertise, and are subjected to the right level of supervision.
All right, Paul, thank you so much for those details. Of course, you're welcoming Kenyans to find out more information about the open day, which starts tomorrow. They can check that on the website, which is
www.cma.or.ke. We'll be at KICC for the next 3 days.
All right, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Now, in just a moment, we'll be crossing over to the other side to have a discussion on the border industry, and there we have NTSA represented. We've got the Motorcycle Assemblers Association, which was launched today, represented, and we've got the Border Operators Association also represented. Do join us for that discussion in just a moment.